who delivered Jesus up to die. It was not Judas for money. It was not Pilate for fear. Not the Jews for envy. But the Father for love. Yeah, but the Father for love. So many ideas about who killed Jesus, and there's been documentaries and films made and movies made about who killed Jesus, but it was actually the Father, because he loved you and because he loved me. Well, good morning. My name's Stan. For those that don't know me, I'm the lead pastor around here, and it's great to see a room full of people. It's the first time in over a year. Wow. So thanks for coming today. Some of you haven't been to church in a couple of years. You normally come on Easter, but last year you couldn't do it. So you're back today. So thanks for those people we haven't seen in 2 years. Thanks for being here. And some of you are here today for the very first time. I've already met a couple of you out in the welcome space. I want to just tell you, we are so excited to have you here. And as a public service, we are a church, so we preach from the Word of God, we sing songs and things, but I also want to give you a public service announcement. I want to do something for you today, okay? Public service announcement is this. How many have been eating chocolate this morning already? Really? Okay, you're in time. Because did you know that the average chocolate bar has 8 insect parts in it? Yeah. So for those of you that have already eaten it, how many insect parts have you eaten in a lifetime? Figure that one out. And did you know, while we're talking about insects, did you know that roaches can live after their head is chopped off for 9 days before they starve? Yeah. And did you know that if an ant is intoxicated, it always falls over on its right side? Wow. Yeah. Now, you're going to go home and find those ants and play with that. But who comes up with these things? Who does these studies to figure out these facts? Now, I have it on good authority that all those are true facts because I found them on the internet, so we know they're true. You know, it's pretty hard to know what's true these days, isn't it? We live in a world where truth is actually elusive. We have conspiracy theories and fake news. And over the last few weeks, we've actually been doing a series called Truth, where we've been unpacking and investigating some of Jesus' claims in the last week of his life, some of the things that Jesus said. And we've been weighing those up as to the veracity of the truth of them. If you missed those messages, go back to our website or YouTube channel. You can watch those anytime over the next millennia and see what that's all about. But today, we come to the most radical claim that Jesus ever made. On multiple occasions, Jesus declared that he would be killed and then that he would rise from the dead. He said this in an answer to some Jewish leaders one day in John chapter 2. By the way, John was one of Jesus' friends who ended up writing about his experience with Jesus. And he said this, John chapter 2, verse 18 says, the Jewish leaders demanded, "What are you doing? If God gave you authority to do this, show us a miraculous sign to prove it." Now they're talking to Jesus here. Verse 19, "All right," Jesus replied, "destroy this temple and in 3 days I will raise it up." "What?" they exclaimed. "It has taken 46 years to build this temple." Lots of council restrictions and regulations there, I'm sure. Sorry. "And you can rebuild it in 3 days." But when Jesus said this temple, he meant his own body. And we know from other texts that the Jewish leaders understood this because actually when he was crucified, they said, "Hey, I remember he said he's going to rise again, so let's make sure that the tomb is secure and all of that." So they understood Jesus' claim. He also told his disciples this, and they actually didn't understand it quite as well at the time. But he said, "I'm going to die and I'm going to rise again." Now, it's a well-accepted fact that Jesus was a historical, real person. And even those who don't follow Jesus would say that he was a good person. And most faith systems would say that Jesus was a prophet and that he was a good teacher, a rabbi, and things like that. Most faith systems have no issue with any of that. The sticking point comes in that Jesus claimed to be God. And that's what the Jewish leaders were asking him to prove. Prove that you are God. Prove the claims that you're making. And that's when Jesus said, the resurrection is going to be that proof. The resurrection is the foundational claim for Christianity. It is what everything else hinges on. If the resurrection of Jesus Christ is not true, then what we believe, for those of us in the room and online that are followers of Jesus already, what we believe and what millions of people have followed and bought into for over 2,000 years is actually worthless if the resurrection is not true. So if the resurrection is the foundation for our faith, we need to be fully convinced, beyond any doubt whatsoever, that it is true. So today we're going to investigate this claim, and we're going to come to a conclusion that Jesus was either a liar, he was a lunatic, or he was the Lord, as C.S. Lewis says. We're going to investigate this claim. We're going to look at 3 undeniable truths that must be accounted for if we're going to understand the resurrection. Now, if you are already a follower of Jesus today, my goal for you is to give you some things that are going to strengthen your faith. I want you to be even more convinced of your faith. If you're a seeker, someone that's looking for truth, I want to provide you some information that will help you take maybe your next step. And if you're a skeptic, if you're not sure about all this and somebody drug you here today, it's Easter, so I have to come and mom's going to be happy or dad's going to be happy or the kids are going to be happy if I come along with them. If that's you, but you're not really buying in, I want to stretch your thinking today. I want to give you some things to consider. So I'd ask you to listen in. And at the end, if you're still a skeptic, that's fine. If you're still a seeker, that's fine. If you're a follower of Jesus, I hope, again, that you are even more on board.